Yo, it's me, Dancho. Welcome back to the Hideout, you guys, and I'm so glad you guys can make it. And as you can see, this is the second ever Dancho cosign video, you guys, and I will be doing a cosign of four manga that I think you guys are gonna love, that I recommend, that I really think you guys should check out. They're really cool, really unique. All four of these are ongoing manga too, so you can catch up to these and get into the hype of them weekly, and you really enjoy them. And I think that every single one of these I'm about to bring up are unique in their own way. They do something very special, and I just actually love them a lot. Okay, and I feel like there's something that isn't talked about within the community, and I think they should be talked about more with people, and I think people should give these some highlights because these are some very unique manga I'm going to talk about. But before we get too far into that, as I always say, if you like this type of content and if you want more from me, don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and don't forget to tap the bell icon, okay? So you never miss when videos like this get posted, all right? And if you didn't see my Dancho's cosign anime winter 2021, you check that out as well, and there should be a little link. Boom, did it pop up? There it is. And you should check that out as well, and I think you would really, really enjoy it, okay, you guys? But before we get into it, intro. Guys, so the first manga I want to recommend to you guys, and oh my god, please do not butcher me if I mess this name up, okay? But it's Batuque, and it's spelled Batuque. It is written by Sako Toshio. If you know anything about Sako, he is the mangaka of Usugoi, and this is now his currently ongoing work, okay, now that Usugoi is not complete. Batuque is very, very, very good, you guys. It has 100 chapters so far, right? And the concept of it, without me spoiling too much, is underground capoeira. And if you don't know what capoeira is, they put it in the simple terms, it is a very old fighting style that was created back during slavery days in Haiti, and it is also the fighting style that is used by Eddie Guerrero in Tekken. So if you know anything about Tekken, the fighting style that Eddie Guerrero uses in Tekken, that is what capoeira is. It's a very powerful, unique, breakdancing-esque type of fighting style that is actually very, very deadly. And the concept of this manga is that there's a female MC, love me a female MC. There's a female MC who was raised in a weird family, always jumping from place to place. Things always seemed odd for her, and then she runs into a certain place. She runs into this old man who doesn't talk much, okay, and he seems homeless, but he knows capoeira, and she sees him do capoeira, protecting himself inside of a grocery store one day, right, when he's being attacked by some people. And so she just gets intrigued by what capoeira is, and I really cannot tell you guys more, because telling you guys too much more will ruin the growth of this character and the development of the MC, okay, and the things that she starts to go through as she progresses on stage to stage to stage to stage, okay? I'm struggling with getting her name down because for some reason my mind is going blank. I apologize, but she's also an amazing MC, and I love her, and she's very straightforward and very outgoing. The main thing that I really do love about Batuque, though, with the black culture in general, okay, them talking about African descendant people who came up with capoeira to protect themselves in the time of slavery, and how the times of slavery have changed now to they have all of this power in the underground cartel world, and the world of capoeira, it has this very dangerous, very high stakes level type of world where people are fighting for their lives and they're fighting for money. And the way the story starts to change, going from her just trying to figure out what's going on, where her origins and who her family is, to what exactly that means when she finds out her origins and her family, is impeccable. And I don't want to say too much. One of my favorite antagonists named BJ is in it, and like, I love BJ, okay? He's a black guy. All of the strongest characters within this series are black people, and they're not depicted in a way that feels racist, that feels stereotypical. They're just genuinely powerful black people with genuine black culture, okay, Brazilian, Haitian type of cultures, and I just love seeing it. And I think it's only something that an artist like Toshio, that Sako Toshio, could do. And if anyone's seen Usugoi, you know how amazing that art is going to be. And you know what? Just to make sure you know how good the art is, boom, panel. You see how good that art is? Do you see that? All right, that's all I gotta say. The second manga I want to talk about is called Momo the Blood Taker by Sugito Akita. This is a vampire manga. I love vampire. Love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Love everything of that nature. But this vampire manga has a very different twist to it, where it is about a man, not named Momo, a regular human man, okay? And he basically, his wife is murdered, grotesquely murdered by a vampire. And this vampire exposes itself, letting him know, I'm a vampire killing your wife, okay? and that was its sadistic way of living. And this man was a police officer, right? So he now is trying to use his police connections to figure out how he can hunt down this vampire. And he goes down this very, very dark path to hunt this vampire down. And that is not the majority of the story. That is literally you setting up what's going to happen in the rest of the story. The first 10 chapters, he goes through this very, very dark path of trying to find this vampire. And when he does find this vampire, it does not go the way he wants it to go. And at first I thought this was some regular vampire story where the vampires weren't too crazy, they didn't have no crazy powers. Of course they can mutilate a person, rip them to shreds because they have their super strength. But it actually gets much deeper than that, and there's actually a lot of hierarchy to these vampires. There's a lot of supernatural powers to these vampires, and not all vampires are the same. Some have these supernatural powers, some don't. It has a lot of these crazy things that's going on and technicalities, and eventually this guy has to give up his humanity to really chase down this vampire and do what he wants to do to get the revenge for his wife. And then the people that was on his side as police officers start looking at him differently because they believe that he's a vampire now, and they believe that he is evil and is doing certain things against them. And it has all of these type of contradicting viewpoints and things happening to where it just creates a very, very compelling story. It's very impressive. And I'm not going to tell you who Momo the Blood Taker is, because if I told you who Momo the Blood Taker was, it would unfortunately ruin you in the storytelling, because you don't meet them in the beginning at all. You know, you meet them later on. So it's a very, very interesting story. I think everyone should check it out. It has a lot of comedy in it. It's such a unique manga in that way, but it also is very horror-like. It is an adult scene and horror type of manga. So don't think you're going to go in there getting something sweet. You're going to get some very serious themes and some very gory art. So if you don't like gore, don't touch it, okay? Momo the Blood Taker, amazing. Third manga I'm going to go for you guys, okay, is Shy by Miki Bukimi. If you haven't heard of Shy, if you like My Hero Academia, you're probably going to like Shy. The reason why I say that is because it talks about superheroes, but it's not the same thing where everyone in the world can become a superhero because they have an ability, stuff like that. The thing about Shy is that there are these certain people that apparently have been chosen to be these superheroes to protect Earth. And the main character is the superhero named Shy, because she's this shy girl, but she wants to save people. That is her drive, that is her goal, that's what she wants to do. And when you meet her, she already is a superhero. So it's not like you're meeting her and she's learning that she's going to become one. And no, you meet her, she is the superhero already. She already has that role, but she makes some mistakes here and there. So it makes it feel like she's not good enough to be a hero. It makes it feel like, I'm not sure if I can really be this superhero. What does it really mean to be a superhero? And you go through this coming of age process with her, and you're trying to see what she's going through and how she's going to change the world and how she's going to be this superhero for these people. And you see that there are people who are great for her in the things that she does, but it elevates and becomes something so much more with some very unique antagonists and some very unique power systems that take the whole cliche of dealing with the power of heart, probably dealing with powers of friendship, actually gives it this really cool twist and gives it this very, very original concept. And I love the way it's done, and I love Shy as a main character. She just, to me, warms my heart when I see her, and she warms my heart when I'm watching her interact with people and I'm watching her try to be this hero, because she is genuinely shy and she's not sure if the things that she does are really being received, and she's not entirely sure if she can really be the one to change people and to make people better. But as she does change people and notice people appreciating the things she does, she starts to get that affirmation and starts to realize, wait, I can do more, I can be more. You know, she starts to realize, okay, I have to really understand, I have to have the confidence to go out and help the people for them to really receive the help that I'm giving. And that is a beautiful, beautiful story that I love from another, like I said, amazing female MC that I just don't see people talking about and praising enough. And I think Shy is a very unique manga, okay? Very, very unique. And last, but certainly not least, we have Dead Mount Death Play by Fujimoto Shinta. This is what I like to call an isekai, but an isekai like no other. And the reason why I say isekai like no other is because it isn't some guy from our world dying and then going into a fantasy world. With Dead Mount Death Play, there is a dude from a fantasy world who was the villain, okay, Skull God they called him. He actually set up for the strongest hero of the time to kill him so that he could reincarnate into a whole different life and finally live a peaceful life. Because you find out that he wasn't always bad, and that he had things that happened to him that made him go bad, but it was all to set up so that someone could finally kill him so that he could have his regular life. And what happens to him is that instead of him going from fantasy world to maybe a whole other fantasy world, he goes from fantasy world to our world, but he keeps all his magic. But Magic doesn't work exactly the same our world as it does his world, but it's not exactly different. It has these very cool technicalities and things going on that make you go, oh, whoa, that's crazy. It actually has me starting to wonder, is this a whole different world? Is our world just the future of his world? It plays in these like in between lines, and the main character is so unique because he has this weird concept of death where death isn't something scary to him, and you know, he like he's the god of death, but he ends up taking a kid's body, so he's a young kid now looking who isn't scared of death, who has all these crazy powers. But then there's other people in the world who aren't normal people. They aren't normal, but they're from our world. And they have all types of seemingly super strength, seemingly super speed. They're really good fighters, stuff like that. And he starts interacting with these people, but he starts running into a whole criminal organization. That's who he runs into when he first gets reincarnated, who end up becoming his allies. And he has to go against the police organization and other evil organizations who were coming after the life of the boy whose body he's in. It's a whole lot of crazy, intricate moments, even with the boy whose body he took's family, and that boy, even though he took his body, the boy's soul isn't necessarily gone. And so all of these type of technicalities are going around and tapping in, and it makes the story something that I've just really never seen before from an isekai type of series, especially one that's from a fantasy world transitioning into our world, but still keeping the magic there. It has all of these really cool implications and things like that. And you want to find out more about the main character because he seems to have this very tragic past. Not even seems, we know he has a very tragic past. You're getting enough bits of information throughout the entire series where you're like, okay, cool, I'm learning more about him while also still being intertwined in the current world. So you feel confident in everything going on, and you feel confident following with the story, and the art is fantastic. But if you don't like gore and stuff like that, just stay away from it, okay? This series definitely has that, you know, some real action. It has some very interesting characters that I think you guys would appreciate. With that being said, that is all from the Dancho manga recommendation cosign, you guys. And I hope you guys like the manga that I talked about. Hopefully all of these manga are new to you, or at least 2 out of 4 of these manga are new to you, 3 out of 4 of these manga are new to you, and you didn't come here and you clicked this and you're like, oh, Dancho, I'm reading all of these. Or you may be reading all of them and you're like, oh, well, I'm glad Dancho's telling people to read them. And if you have some things that you think I should check out, hit the comment section below. If there's anything about these series you want to add that I didn't bring up because I didn't want to spoil people, you can add it in the comments, but make sure you put some type of spoiler tag so people know if you're going to talk about too much about it and it could ruin their experience of it, okay, you guys? That'd be much appreciated. But as always, it is me, Dancho. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and that bell icon so you miss nothing else of our content here at the Hideout. Peace.